Hi, I'm Carl Azus for CNN 10. Welcome to the show. With the 2018 Winter Olympics just over 3 weeks away in Pyeongchang, South Korea, more cooperation has been announced between that country and its rival, North Korea. But some experts and international leaders are skeptical about the progress being made between the two countries. We've reported on the high-level talks between North and South Korea that suddenly resumed earlier this month. We've reported on the North Korean delegation of athletes, musicians, and media that are headed to the South. And South Korea just announced that its athletes and those from North Korea will march together at the Winter Olympics opening ceremony, and that they'll do that under one unified flag. This has happened before at a number of sports events, including the 2006 Winter Olympics. North and South Korea are also planning activities together, cultural events, and a unified women's ice hockey team to compete at this year's games. But while some observers say this is the most significant improvement in Korean relations in years, North Korea has said it's not going to end its nuclear and missile programs, which the international community considers illegal. A Japanese government official says he believes North Korea is using the talks to buy time so that it can continue its weapons programs. What leaders from around the world are waiting to find out is whether the progress that North and South Korea make before the Olympics continues after the Games, or if tensions on the Korean Peninsula will worsen once again. 10-second trivia. Which of these countries borders both the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman? United Arab Emirates, Yemen, Bahrain, or Saudi Arabia? Of these countries, only the United Arab Emirates borders both bodies of water, though the country itself is mostly desert. Tailgating yesterday's report on the economic impact that driverless cars could have, we're now focusing on their safety. The U.S. Department of Transportation says autonomous vehicles could reduce or even eliminate deaths from car crashes. They'd potentially remove human error from the roads. But the self-driving technology that currently exists has been involved in dozens of accidents, including one that killed the operator. And experts say that because self-driving cars are essentially computers, they're prone to the same problems computers have. But what would their record be like when everything works as it should?
Here we go on our first ride in an autonomous vehicle. It's just me in the car and the robot. Everything we do from here on out is going to be the autonomous vehicle taking full control. Whoa. While we were driving across this campus just now, a child ran in front of the car. And as promised, the autonomous vehicle did its job. It stopped.
1.25 million. That's the number of people who die in auto accidents every year worldwide. In the United States, more than 40,000 people were killed in accidents in 2016, 6% more than the previous year.
It's much worse than all terrorist attacks, and much worse than all plane crashes. And we never really talk about it. I'm on a mission here. When I was 18 years old, I lost my best friend in a traffic accident due to a split-second bad decision. And I felt it was just such a waste. And as a technologist, I felt I gotta fix this. I actually believe with only self-driving cars, there will be no accidents. Cars don't text, they're not distracted, they're not drunk, they pay attention all the time. They're so much better than people.
That's the goal, but how do we get there? For answers, I went to Waymo, the self-driving arm of Google's parent company in Silicon Valley, where engineers are building technology that has clocked more than 4 million miles of autonomous driving. Jamie Wado is the lead systems engineer who came to Waymo after putting a rover on Mars for NASA. She also co-wrote Waymo's playbook on autonomous driving safety.
We have layers of safety around the vehicle. We have radars that can see the speed of things, so we know if they're moving or static objects. We have lasers, lidars, that paint a 3D image of the world. They can see a football helmet 2 football fields away, and they can see 360 degrees around the car. And all of that allows us to see things and see them very far away and see them at high resolution to make all of those decisions and understanding about our world. So you can see the things playing out in front of you and you can slow down and respond safely.
Before I left, I had to ask, what's more difficult, getting driverless cars here on Earth or putting a rover on Mars?
It's self-driving cars by far.
So when are we going to know that these cars are safe enough to drive? I asked a lawyer who's an expert on that very question.
This is one of the really tough questions, not just how safe is safe enough, but how do we know that the vehicle is that safe?
How do we know? How will we know?
We don't, and we're not sure. I think that there will be a lot of new issues that automation creates, but ultimately, we are ill-served by today's transportation system. We talk about the car traditionally as being this symbol of freedom. You're not free if you're dead.
This is the part that really freaks people out. If my car is the one doing the driving, how can I trust it not to kill me? Or someone I love? In a bad situation, will the car choose one person over the other? It's a question philosophers call the trolley problem. Picture this. A trolley car is heading down a track toward a family of 5 that are stuck. You can save them by pulling a lever and changing the course of the train, but there's one man stuck on the other track. Is it more ethical to let the family die or sacrifice the one man so they can be saved? What would a car driven by a computer do?
It's not that the trolley problem is impossible to come up, it's not, but an error has been made if that were ever to occur. If you're ever in a situation where you're faced with a trolley problem, the car has made a much more serious error. It should have been more conservative so that it was never faced with that situation.
In other words, we may be thinking about this all wrong.
If you think about a computer playing chess, it's moving many, many moves ahead, more moves than you possibly could, and analyzing. The computer is able to process this environment and anticipate much better than you could, and operate with much better accuracy than you can. We're able to track objects all around the car and detect them with superhuman levels of perception.
This, of course, all assumes that the car is in working order. But these cars are computers, after all. And any computer can be hacked.
Be kind of interesting to see how or if a self-driving car would react to this. You're driving along, nice night, everything's fine, until this incredibly bright flash blazes up in the distance and the ground underneath your car shakes. Now that's unpredictable. It was actually a meteor, according to NASA. A rock that entered Earth's atmosphere over Michigan, flared into a blazing fireball, and caused a small 2.0 magnitude earthquake. To those who saw it, it might have seemed like something meteor. It blew up on social media along its meteoric rise to fame, and while some were rocked by the sight and the quake, others wish they'd gotten more of a better view. But meteor or not, there it was. I'm Carl Azus, and that's all the space we have on CNN 10.